Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. I am Teresa Velardi, and I'm so excited for the show that we have ahead of us today. I want to let you know, though, that every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, you can watch Conversations That Make a Difference on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. We are live with call-in shows the first and third Tuesday of every month. So just go to YouTube and find us there. We have a conversation going on every time we're on live. So make sure that you join us. And did you know that you can get Dream Vision 7 Radio Network online, on your mobile apps, in cars, on YouTube, of course, and by asking Alexa? I have to do this quietly so Alexa doesn't do this, so Alexa doesn't hear me. Just say, ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, and you will be able to hear me on Alexa as well. So today, we're going to be talking to Coach Peggy Willms and Dr. Marcus Wettstein. But as you know, we always start with a serenity prayer. So let's do that, and then I'll make our introductions. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It is also by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And we gratefully say, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, let me just read some intros here so I don't leave anything out. Peggy Willms has been a certified personal trainer, sports performance nutritionist, personal and executive health, wellness, and life coach for over 30 years. Peggy is an entrepreneur, author, and host of the Coach Peggy Show. She is also the executive producer of Coach Peggy Real Time, a transformational docuseries. Peggy hosts wellness retreats, is a featured contributor for BizCat 360, which is an international online magazine, and she spent more than 20 years in corporate wellness and has managed multi-million-dollar medical clinics. Her unique business and worksite wellness programs have earned her multiple awards, and she has 2 sons and 1 grandson. She loves all things beach and sunshine and lives in Florida with who she calls her better half. So, Peggy, welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference.
Thank you. You're hired. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Dr. Marcus Wettstein has practiced endocrinology for nearly 30 years. He is a diabetes, metabolic, and stress management specialist. He also works in energy medicine as a licensed BioWell practitioner. He assists clients in improving their health and wellness by measuring their energy field, stress level, health status, and energy reserve by electrophotonic imaging. Oh my goodness, we're going to talk about that. He lives in Colorado with his wife, has 3 children, and enjoys skiing and hiking. Welcome, Dr. Marcus.
Thank you, Teresa.
I'm so excited to have the 2 of you on here. So one of the reasons that you're here is because you've got something big happening in your world. The 2 of you have partnered on something that is just really going to change the lives of many people. Peggy, do you want to let the cat out of the bag, or should I?
How many cats do we have? Because I've been herding about 40 stray cats for 7 months.
Yes, 40 stray cats. Well, now they've all come home to mama, right? And now they're all.
Yes. It's been awesome. Let's see, Teresa. So we've known each other for a while, and you and I and Marcus have been talking since last fall. Marcus and I wanted to write a compilation book, either with our patients and our clients together, or a book about stress, or a book about our diabetes project. So we've been talking about this for years. And it made sense because I already knew you and you were a publisher, and we get along marvelously. So we stepped together for a 3-book series called All Things Wellness book series. And we're getting ready to release the 4-fold formula, which is our first one. Sometime this summer, Teresa, tell me, when is it?
I'm so excited. The 4-fold formula for all things wellness. Try and say that 3 times fast. That can be the newest tongue twister out of the world, right? So you have you're using some of your patented information to help people around the world in their journey to wellness. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this conversation with you and to be able to help you to get this book out into the world, because we need it. Dr. Marcus.
Yes.
You bring a specific flavor to this pie that we're putting together here. So one of the things that you have in your bio that really impresses me, besides the fact that you've been an endocrinologist for 30 years, what is the thing that you're doing with the electrophotonic imaging? What does that tell you about somebody?
Yeah, it's basically, I'm a scientist, obviously, at heart, and practicing in the field of science for that period of time, like you said, just about 30 years, is fraught with detecting flaws, and the flaws have to do with patients not getting what they need, because we're not comprehensive enough and we don't have enough time in medical practices these days. Yeah. So Peggy approached me for the 4-fold formula and the wellness wheel, and in my bio is the photonic imaging, because that's something that I use as a translational tool between energy medicine and scientific medicine, so to say, right? Because there's always a problem when you're looking, for instance, at Chinese medicine and their meridian, which also can be displayed through this device. You have non-scientific ways of approaching medicine that work. And this little tool, the electrophotonic imaging, is basically a tool to show energy to people, which I think for me as a scientist is very important. And therefore it's a really helpful tool for a scientist like me to buy into the energy field.
Right. So I was just going to ask you, so what you do with the energetic field of someone in relation to what's going on with the medical tools you use in your regular practice, if you put the two of them together, you get more information and more of an ability to give your patient exactly what they need, correct?
Correct, yes. And it is really, because it's energy, it doesn't have an expression of disease or pathology. It really just shows you where areas are that are underserved or sometimes even overserved. And you can go ahead and work on that and try and make energy flow properly in your body, thus preventing serious medical pathology and disease.
Right. So one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you that question is because when most people think about wellness, they think about they get their blinders on and they think about the doctor wearing the white coat, right? So, and that's not to say that you don't wear a white coat when you go to work, because you probably do.
I do.
but
these are gone. Yes, I used to go with suit and tie or in white coat and things like that, and things have changed.
Right, things have changed.
So.
Right. Well, so you are using I'm going to call it complementary medical information or complementary wellness information in order to treat your patients. And Coach Peggy, you use information, lots of different information, because you have this beautiful wellness wheel thing that you use in order to be able to tap into all the variety of areas of wellness. So can you just talk about that a little bit for me?
Yes, I could have never put this tool together after 5 or even 10 years in my industry. So it's not like it's something I could have created in my 20s or 30s or even 40s, but I've been in my lane for a long time, since '89. And so coming in from a personal training, physical aspect and nutrition aspect, raising 2 motocross national champions, having 2 businesses, trying to do all these things myself, it became really obvious that there were gaps as I look back in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
As I got older in my career, my coaching career, it was so prominent through the corporate wellness world, the gaps were just starting to open. But I was honestly about 10 years too early. And my first presentation for my employer group was in 1993 on how I wanted to do an on-site, stress management, massage plan, workout plan. And I literally presented it in July of 1993.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it was passed, when I got my award for my worksite wellness plan, it was July of 2003. So for 10 years, I stayed at that same company, but that type of plan I wanted to put in place was too comprehensive per se, or what they didn't even know what the hell I was talking about. Heck, I was talking about. So fast forward, I started to realize all the gaps that they just fluctuate in our life we can't control. Relationships, organization, work environment, job satisfaction, coping skills. If you're looking at your spirituality, or if you're looking at things like your self-care, self-love, so I created this wheel, well-being and wellness wheel, that has 24 spokes. Bottom line, I use it to determine where there's some gaps with my clients that we can focus on, but more importantly, keep the wheel balanced so we're not off track. Because what you said earlier, wellness is not all about just doing squats and eating kale. I've said that for the last few years, and I sincerely mean that.
Yeah. So I think that for the most part, the two of you have a formula that is really comprehensive in terms of overall wellness. I'm going to say overall wellness because there are lots of aspects that you just touched on them: spiritual, emotional, physical, mental, all these different areas. If one is out of whack, I love what you say. You say your wheel gets flat. Right. So it's really important to be able to keep all things well, if you will. Mm-hmm. So using that as a backdrop, the two of you decided to step into this project, and you got 40 people to step up and tell stories of wellness. Without giving away any of the stories, how about you give me just a couple of tidbits on what people might find in this book when they buy theirs?
Marcus?
Yeah,
Marcus,
so
you can go first.
Okay. Yeah, with regards to just slipping back into the wellness wheel, the 4 sectors: the mind, the heart, the spirit, and the body. I was attracted to this because it was very comprehensive, never seen before. The 4 major categories have each 6 sectors in them. So you're talking about 24 sections. And those 24 sections are really looking at people comprehensively. So when we looked at the authors and their writings, we basically were able to look at the main categories that this writing fits into. And, we have divorces, we have deaths, we have addictions, we have lots of different topics. And we are trying to show the reader that just about all stories fit into, all stories that we got so far, we haven't run into anything that we couldn't categorize into these sectors. Right. They have a certain, core concept that we can work with and identify and give people a chance to read about, and then see if they can utilize that in their life to some sort of degree.
That's awesome, because I don't think there's just one person on this planet that has ever had an addiction, or one person who's ever suffered a divorce, or one person who's ever lost a job because of medical issues or for any other reason whatsoever. there's not just one person in every category.
Right.
Everybody either has themselves or knows someone who has gone through some of what we're talking about here. So it makes it a universal read for anybody, even if there's just something for everybody in this. I can't even emphasize that enough. Peggy, you want to give me a little peek into something that you've read in there?
I think for me, this has been this project is the most monumental frosting on the cupcake of my career and life that I've been able to work on. It was such an easy process. Marcus has watched me behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, but it flowed so easily and was so organized because it's been in my head for decades to do something like this. To create a platform where people could show if you look back at my website, I've always said, real people, real stories, real world. That's where the issues were with all the boot camps I worked for, all the TV shows, every training gym you've ever been in. No one goes home with the person. No one goes home to where the story is. And I'm telling you, my feeling in this is we learned so much about the people, but I selfishly learned so much about myself and Marcus and our growth and the commonality, which maybe after commercial or whatever, Teresa, you want to do, we can talk about what the writers are sharing now back. And the book hasn't even been published on what they've learned. It's changed my life.
Yeah. Wow. I know that there are so many that have been like, I know personally a couple of people that I introduced you to. They come back to me. I had no idea it was going to be like this. I had no idea that I was going to be able to meet these other authors and blah, blah, blah. And what you have done, kudos to you on what you have done in order to be able to not just create a platform for these stories and a book that they are told in, but you have started to create a new community within this whole thing that you've put together. And I'm thrilled. And so are they. So yeah, I would love to hear some of what they're saying in the background. But you know what I want to recognize though too, Dr. Marcus, when I first met you, you were very quiet and very, very much. Okay, so my dad was German. My maiden name was Schusterich. Austrian and German background, and he was not a man that spoke a lot. He was very quiet, and he what's that frame? Speak softly and carry a big stick. That was my dad. That was my dad. And when I first met you, I got the same vibe from you that I had from my father, but. As he went on the years, he mellowed. But I have watched you kind of like open up and engage in a way that I didn't know you before Peggy introduced you to me. But I have watched you open it up and engage in this process and be, more lighthearted than you were when I first met you. What do you attribute that to?
Well, Teresa, I think the whole process in and of itself to go through to realize that a lot of people are, suffering through this life just the same, rather than being internalizing all of this, which is, basically taught and, sort of indoctrinated into you when you grow up over there, or the time that I grew up over there. And that type of behavior doesn't lend itself for networking, connections, and so on. So I sort of grew into that, reading the stories, being part of the editing process, and so on. Just finding that people getting judged most of the time and put into categories. And I always was the doc, and I was perfectly fine with this kind of categorization. It gives me some self-esteem and all those kind of things, but it doesn't lend itself to opening up and having a brain-heart connection, basically, is what that is for me, that loosening up, that recognizing that, you don't really have to be so cramped up all the time. And it does help a lot with regards to your overall sense of well-being and happiness,
Yeah.
And that's a sort of a self-fulfilling spiral that just was an amazing result from, joining Peggy in this project. It just came on its own.
Yeah. And you've only just begun, my friend. You've only just begun. Yeah. So you get this stuff kind of opens you up. And and Peggy, you could do that. Yes, indeed.
No, for him, I've known him since 2009.
Yeah.
And, when you said multi-million-dollar clinics, I was running his clinics. Yeah. And that's how we met. And we instantaneously, we just were, kind of this Batman and Robin. And I used to call him Big Wolf, what was it?
Big Bad Wolf. Yeah, that's
Big
right.
Bad Wolf. And we had this kind of dance that we did with each other. We knew when we needed to support one or support the other. And I've wanted to go on many journeys. We've been on many journeys together, and you're absolutely right. I've watched my big brother, my friend here, grow. We love each other. I knew I wanted him on this journey. It brings me to tears because the second I knew I wanted to do a compilation book, that is who I wanted to do it with.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is, Teresa, when you go into something like this, when you've been burned before, you've been a little bit ahead of your game, or you've tried things and not been able to get people to hear you or support you or understand you. I knew with Marcus, I was safe. I knew he would respect me and lift me up. I didn't have to worry about ego with either of us. And I just appreciate the heck out of it.
No, and there's been joy in the journey because of exactly what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk some more about what's going on inside the fourfold formula for all things wellness when we come back from the break, which is right about now. So we'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. For over 40 years, Omega has seen more than 1 million people come through its doors to grow, learn, and find a greater sense of purpose. With over 350 workshops to choose from, Omega offers something for everyone. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Every time we come back from the first break, I always think that I'm like, okay, first part's over, deep breath, let's move on to the nitty gritty. And, just like this sensation of just like, take a deep breath and just like relax into whatever it is that's next for us. So one of the things that impresses me is that there are going to be 2 more books after this. The first one we're hoping that will launch around August the 15th. So we'll be getting that out there sooner than later. And I'm excited for all that's going to happen with this. And the authors are excited. Let's talk about some of them in terms of, I don't want to give away too much, but what was one story, Marcus, that really impressed you? You don't have to give the author's name or all content, but what is one that you can think of off the top of your head that really speaks to wellness in a way that some people might not have thought of when they think of wellness?
Yeah. I think the topic of addiction was the most profound for me. And when you go through medical training, you recognize that meth, which is one of the stories in the book about a meth addiction, was basically taught to us and over the years that it's a place of no return. Now we have a story in the book where this addiction was overcome, and that was to me a tool of incredible power, because if you are a meth addict and you go to your doctor and all your doctor said, well, you might as well just go and buy a plot. Because you're not going to get over this. We can help you out through your pain and suffering, but it's not going to be a very good outcome for you. And then reading the story makes you realize how much we get taught or did get taught in the past that is just untrue. And and having a story like this of hope, and the other people reading it and being capable of picking up on the point that, yeah, I am a meth addict, but this one made it, so I will probably be able to get through that as well. That was a very powerful learning experience for me, honestly. I'm not in the field of drug addiction and so on, so I can't say that medicine these days is not going to be able to help you out and fix you, but the underlying energy in the practitioners is not groomed to get people through that, and this story will. If you're a meth addict and you read this story, you will have hope, and that was the very profound experience that I went through.
That's awesome. Do you think that if you had patients, if you were a doctor, and someone came, well, before it was known, before the energy work that you're doing was discovered, do you think that that might have helped someone with an addiction? Do you think that that information could have been a way for someone to be able, who ended up dead as an addict? Do you think that's something that might have helped them had you had that information in the past?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. See? So.
It's quite amazing, how things get categorized and then left alone without any consideration of people having experienced different things. Now, again, I can't generalize this and say that all the practitioners out there have the same hopeless attitude towards this or were taught this, but for me, that just was the case, and it had a profound impact.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that is so interesting as part of the wellness wheel is the spirit, because I believe that, God does miracles. And when somebody is in desperate need and they cry out, I really believe that there can be help from a higher source. So
that the medical field and spiritual things don't mix too well.
I know, I totally get that. But guess what? For all things wellness, they must mix in order to be able to have complete healing, right? Correct?
That is exactly right.
Yeah. Peggy, what's one story that struck you? What's one topic that you dealt with as you were looking for the stories and, sorting through everything that was submitted, what can you say was one that said, absolutely, has to be in the book. I can't believe that this happened to somebody. And talk to me about what one story that impressed you and what was the nature of the content.
Right. I had one initially, that the first one that made me cry when I read it. It was because I was just doing the process, like the left brain stuff, got the story, edit it, do my thing. And we went back and forth with the authors a lot. The highest one was 14 times cycled and the lowest was 4 or 5. But the reason we chose to take that time is the process I saw as a coach to peel back their onion and the growth they were having, which I knew it was going to have a positive effect on others. I knew how storytelling works. But as a coach, to get your client, for years, you try to get them up, tell your testimony. What did you go through? So I saw that happening. So we took a lot of time up front. One of the first stories was, as we get older as children, we know that our parents potentially are going to pass before we do. But we expect that the way that the story is going to go out is maybe we'll be 50 or 60 before we take care of our parents, and this is what I'll do. One of the stories, the gal is her teens. She becomes she's a teenager, 18, 19 years old, and becomes the guardian of her parent who is unstable. She then becomes the sole family member that makes her end stage choices as a very young person. And that one had me just, I couldn't even, by the last paragraph, I was just like, and we peeled that one back a lot because I just kept going, tell me more, tell me more. One of the most profound ones right now, Teresa, that I'm seeing in the works is one from the media partners. And you guys can guess, I'm not going to tell you who or anything like that. You'll see that in the story, in the book, but our 7 media partners wrote stories. I haven't seen that done. I've been a part of a compilation book before. Everybody submits a story, you read it. I interview people in compilation books. But this particular person is very successful in her business. And she came from the bottom up. And she shared a lot of those details. But what was the most profound is I was interviewed by her recently. And she told me that by writing the story, it changed how she now manages her employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what we find out about ourselves when we write our stories. I've been journaling and writing for years and years and years. And there was still, I did a retreat this weekend. I was a speaker at a retreat this weekend. And I can't tell you how much I found out, not only about myself, but about people that I thought I really knew. I know. Because there were some writing exercises that we did. And so, of course, when I'm around, there's writing exercises to be done,
of course.
But it's amazing what we find out about ourselves, and stuff goes on the paper, and you kind of like take a look back and you say, I didn't know that about me.
Right.
True. How you're being, and it all changes along the way as we get older, as we switch careers, as we do what we do in life. Everything changes, right? Nothing stays the same. So how she treats her employees is going to be a heck of a lot different than before she wrote the story. So Peggy,
she started to recognize through her story that her mentors that changed her the most and guided her in her career, as she uncovered those in her story, she started to think about those traits and lessons she learned from them that changed and developed ultimately who she is. And she's like, I'm now that. Like, I have that responsibility. I'm now that mentor. And it was just a profound learning that in chatting with her.
Yeah, it's amazing how something like this, you think, oh, it's only 2,000 words or however many words it is. And how much can I tell in that? Well, with the right coach, and I have to give kudos to you, Peggy and Dr. Marcus, because with the right people at the helm, with the helm of the project, so to speak, you actually cause change. You cause change in people. Transformation is not just about, going from and talking about the wellness, going from sick to healthy, fat to fit. It's not just about that. It's about, all of these other things that we're talking about, but transformation for people from the inside out. And this is a great example of what you're just telling me, that somebody's whole life, not only her life, but the lives of people's lives who touch her will now be different because of what she discovered through this project. That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. All right. Give me another one. Somebody give me another one.
Just real quick. I just interviewed, when we put together this process, because I'm coming right off of being a radio host and interviewing many authors. And I knew for an absolute fact, Marcus and I talked about this in the beginning. So I would have stood in front of a bus to fight for this. And I said to him, we are going to create a community and a sense of we're going to watch relationships develop professionally, personally. They're going to get to know each other. And I said, I want to hold these guys so safely that whether they trust me now, they can pretend to trust me now, but I want them to understand that we are leading from our heart, and we wanted to watch them grow. And I am watching some of them who have never written, who are blogging for me, blogging for international magazines, who are standing up, who are doing speaking events, that are collaborating with other people, that are getting their LLC for a business that they never thought they could. Like, the book hasn't even come out, Teresa, and we have 2 more. It's like a blessing, man.
I know. Look at you changing lives all over the world, all over. And there are women from people from other countries in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Africa, England, Canada, all kinds of places. The general gist of the idea was, for me, for instance, to recognize that we are running our lives on so many programs that are going automated, so to say. So we're basically just falling through lives, never thinking about it. This process here is a discovery, because you are recognizing these programs and you realize that, well, maybe that's not in my best interest, but it's been there all your life. And so changing it requires you to wake up, so to say, and realize that that's what you've been doing all along.
Yeah.
At that point you can change. And that was the writing it down for me, that I recognized, man, there's just too many operating programs that are not helpful in my personal life every day. Somebody at some point in time, I can't quote, said 80% of our life is run on autopilot. Imagine that. I don't know if that's true.
It sounds right.
But it sounds about right,
Yeah, it sounds right. I mean, just look at how you start your day. It's habit after habit after habit after habit. And then once you throw a monkey wrench into that, things have to shift. Yeah. And that's exactly what a lot of people are experiencing through this process of writing their stories and aligning themselves with other people who are doing the same, and with 2 professionals who are giving them their all in the process of making those, writing those stories out and making those changes that come because of that writing process.
And we didn't want to just have a book of stories. There are Chicken Soup of the Soul books. There are many other beautiful compilation books you can pick up and have a bath. And I love them. I have read them. I wanted to write one. But when Marcus and I spoke, we took the doc and the coach view to it. And we said, how can we teach content? How can we make this timeless? How can we help our reader learn something, but understand how all of our author stories fit in? And so we spent a lot of time on content, and we spent time in our conclusions and the sections and mentioning the authors and lifting them up and just doing it, wanted to do it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did, and you are, and
Yep.
you continue to do it differently. And that's what I love about you guys. We have to go to our second break. Do you believe 2 segments are gone already? We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching Conversations That Make a Difference. Come on back.
darkest hours to brightest moments, transformation from despair to happiness, and chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available on sacredstoriespublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to happy. Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back. We are in our final segment. Soon we'll come to the main section of the screen. I hope Rachel didn't lose her power. They were having a terrible storm in where she is. So there we are. Hey. So Peggy, I have a question from one of the audience members. How do I get in this book? Now, this is going to bring us to the second book now, actually, right? Because the first book is in the final process. So you want to talk about how people can get in the book and where they can find out more information about the book that is currently winding down and about to be launched, and then how they can find out about what you have next.
Absolutely. So Marcus and I wanted to take the concept of the wellness wheel and really swing it home. So we're taking that concept into all 3 books. That way you can have a continued education through those books. So the second book, so the first one, like you said, will come out in the middle of August, and that is full and released and going to come out, and we're so happy. We're doing current recruiting right now, early bird recruiting for book 2. And so on the allthingswellness.com/author, you can't get lost. You can just look at allthingswellness.com and navigate through. But on the author page, you're going to see a summary of all 3 books. And on there, you'll learn more about other benefits, because We give more benefits than just being published. We give benefits for more words of your biography and pictures and social media platforms and multiple interviews and being a part of one of our publishers' other books that are coming out. So there's lots of different benefits that you get. You can see all that on there. The second book is called Win the Wellness War. And Marcus and I have talked about the war kind of rubs people a little bit the wrong way. Like, is that negative? Is that bloody? And I have taught content for years that wellness is a war. Well-being is a war. Life is full of battles, ups and downs and curves. And that's why I've used the wellness wheel. You get a puncture, you get a flat, you go off-road, your wellness wagon's off-road. So I'm not going to just press a word down because it gives us a yucky feeling. We're going to win the wellness war. We're going to continue to teach you about the wellness wheel. And these 30 stories, we're looking for 30 authors. We only have 20 spots left. We just started to announce it internally to our authors in the last couple of weeks, but August 1st is our early bird deadline. We're taking last call for authors September 1st. Stories are due October 1st, and we want a launch by Christmas. So it's a great gift and it's very aggressive. We get it. But we would love you to be a part of the book. If you have any questions, you can email me, Peggy@allthingswellness.com. And whomever has asked you that, Teresa, join the family. We bring you on.
And it has become a family. It has become a community, a family. You know, as far as that word war is concerned, I right away an acronym came into my head. We are responsible, WAR. For our own wellness, right? We are responsible. So,
exactly right.
You know, it's that's the war. We have to take responsibility for our own lives, and there are areas that are easier than others. And some people have been fighting the same battles for how many years, and it has become a long, drawn out war. And
it backs what Marcus says. A battle or a war. It often, Teresa, what you were just saying as well. We fall into programs. So with wellness and well-being, we fall into programs. And so what are those? If I normally hang out at the gym, that's my default program. If I go back to eating fast food because I have 2 or 3 jobs, I'm going to default to that program. Mm-hmm. If I don't take care of myself, self-care, whatever that looks like for you, I'm going to default to whatever I've been doing the most that served me in however way. Our reward system, whatever that is, keeps serving us. So with this, we want to teach you to get your troops, figure out where you're going, find peace, find harmony. We're excited.
I can see that. Marcus, what's your opinion of what's coming next?
With regards to the book, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are working on this. You know, the point here is that it's sort of well timed with what's going on geopolitically here, and so I thought the book itself was timed well. Because there is a lot going on. And when you're talking about wars, you can talk about the external wars that you're fighting every day, and you can talk about the internal wars. And either one of them are worthwhile investigating, because the programs that we discover and hopefully be able to extinguish or at least put into the background are going to move us away from this mentality that is, brought to the forefront through one person on the face of this planet deciding on doing something that nobody expected anymore. This day and age, I thought we were out of the dark ages, but apparently, we are still teetering along the edge here. So it is something that we as a group, I think, can actually change by changing vibrational frequencies. And I'm going way out on a limb right now. In this group, and working on global consciousness to make an end to this madness.
Kind of like the butterfly effect, right? One wings of the butterfly go and everything else changes. The wind patterns change, everything changes. Right. So people don't realize how powerful words are, how powerful conversation is, how powerful community is when people are having conversations that are on a higher level, a positive, higher, healing, hopeful level, that it will change the atmosphere around them. It will definitely change the atmosphere around them. On the contrary, if they're going in the other direction, negative and whatever, that's when we actually run into illness, physical illness, mental illness, everything, right?
Talking about vibrational frequency, it's easy to get pulled down, and lots of people love to do that. It is hard work to raise your vibrational frequency to a positive. But the end result for me here, coming from a different place, is to recognize that you do you're less of a target to people that are trying to pull you down. It is quite amazing how that works, how your internal feeling and sensation seems to be blocking that, so that you don't even have to deal with it anymore. Quite surprising.
Right, and it's not just in your head, and it actually resonates and vibrates and changes your energy field and your aura, if you will, and your relationships with other people. With what?
I can show you with my little gadget how it changed. I mean, I am my best patient, right? So I have been doing this all along on myself.
Yeah.
And there are tools where you can see what the changes are over the years. It is quite impressive. But I don't want to, toot my horn.
It's so awesome. I'm so glad that you're on both sides of this conversation, because so many people, like I have family members who go through life with blinders on, will only do what their primary care physician says, will not step out the box. And when they talk to me, they're like, Teresa, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with you? Your mind needs to open up. Open up that steel trap you got between your shoulders there. So it's just interesting. It's really interesting. So can you give the website again, Peggy? I want to be able to have people, they can go, give the website first.
Okay, it's allthingswellness.com. So it's All Things Wellness Real, allthingswellness.com, and play around in there. The author tab, you're going to find what the books are about. The media partners are in there. The previous authors, their bios are in there. You can sign up, get your reservation right now to be in the book. So hurry up and do that, because we're taking only 30 writers for the book and only 16 for the front cover. So if you reserve it, if your story is accepted, then that reservation goes towards the investment of the story. And if you're not, then you're going to get your money back. So, Teresa, I wanted to say something about storytelling, because my generation, we tended to work 2 jobs because we had to. So we raised our kids, and I'm not saying that millennials, I don't want to label them, but there was an age group range that missed storytelling. We weren't able to sit down and read to them every night like we were as kids. The books weren't in the bedrooms like they were when we were kids. They don't take the time now to sit down and read and understand how that makes a difference in our intellect and our connections. And I want to just say that the author range for this book, age-wise, please, if you guys are listening, do not think there is an age range that can tell stories. We have a 20-year-old too, 21 years old, all the way up to in the 70s. So the perspective that you can give. We have a male who's talking about emotions that are raw. He hasn't solved his emotional coping skills yet. He's going through them with us and teaching us, and he's 30. So please, male, female, age group, gender, ethnicity, you are not excluded. You have battles to share, and we're dying to meet you, frankly.
And with regards to the gender difference, let me just put in a plug. It's obviously very difficult for the pre-programmed male population to open up their heart, right?
Yeah.
So I only can say, just, do yourself a favor and man up. Because if you are capable to break through that barrier, your life will change to the better in a dramatic way.
Yes. And you are living proof of that, yes?
Yes.
Exactly. But
Yes.
I don't want to toot my own horn.
Toot away.
Toot away, Marcus. Toot away. Yes, indeed. So also one of the things that I wanted to say, and I have a question here about seminars that I'm doing. I don't have anything on the agenda for seminars, but one of the things that Peggy was alluding to with the authors in this first book, they got a chance to write in another book, which I am putting out. It's called A Daily Gift of Gratitude. And we are looking for stories that people are telling about maybe something terrible might have happened in their life and they thought their life was over. They lost a job, they lost a family member, they thought that their own life was over because of something that happened in their world. But then they recognized that somewhere along the line, something better came from that situation. And they're ultimately grateful for what looked like a disaster in the end. So stories of that nature are being collected at dailygiftbookseries.com. And the first one is A Daily Gift of Gratitude. And that's the book that these authors from Fourfold Formula for All Things Wellness are also going into that book as well. So if you want information on that and how you can be a part of it, dailygiftbookseries.com. The website is being developed as we speak, so give it a couple of days. And if you need information, you can always email
reach out to me, or Teresa.
Or Peggy.
Yeah.
Email me or Peggy, and we'll get you the information that you need. We're almost at the end. There's only a couple of minutes left. So what is it that you want to say? Where social media, talk to me about where people can go to meet some of the authors. I know you're putting a lot of things out on social media where they can have conversations online with them and social media. Let's talk about where you can learn more about what's actually happening in the magic world of Peggy and Marcus.
Okay, so another thing we did is we took a step even further in getting our authors kind of prepared for all of the interviews that they're going to have with these media partners and across the world. So we wanted to really let you guys get to know them and their stories. So on the All Things Wellness YouTube channel or my social media, Peggy Willms, you can find me on Facebook, All Things Wellness business page, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever. We've done story teasers where the majority, I think 25 of our 30 authors read about 250 words of their stories to give you a tease. So those videos are all out there, as well as we're now doing personal chats where we're meeting with them and just seeing, what's your favorite? Are you a dog or a cat person? Or where did you grow up? Or what are your thoughts? So meet the authors, go onto my website, look at their bios, connect with them, reach out to them, collaborate with them. Marcus, thoughts?
All I can say is yes, do it.
Yes. Okay.
He was a great partner. I love you.
He is a great partner. There's 2 more books to come. And it's the second one, Win the Wellness War. You can find information at allthingswellness.com/author, correct? Mm-hmm. So go there and find out all the information that you need in order to be able to be part of that book. And I am so happy that you guys said yes to my invitation to come on the show. And thank you so very much for being part of this conversation that will, in fact, make a difference in the lives of others. For those of you who are on the fence, I've never written before, you definitely let go of the monkeys in your head. Let go. I call the committee. Let go of the committee that's telling you can't do this, and because once you start writing, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, my whole world is open. Maybe there's a situation that you haven't been able to get through. This will help you to get through it.
And one more thing, Teresa, I'd just like to leave one quick call to action is to say that whether you've written before or not, of course, we'll take you and we'd love to get to know you. But if you have written, I don't care if you've written 10 books, you will not find an experience like this that can also dust off a book that you've already done, but the experience of just the community. So join us.
Yes. And with that, we are done. Conversations that make a difference will be back at the beginning of August. Meanwhile, have a conversation.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our producer Rachel and to our station owner Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let